Hi everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into data types in Liquid. Understanding data types is essential for theme development, as they determine the kinds of data Liquid can work with and the operations we can perform on that data. So let's jump right in. In programming, data types are simply categories for different types of data. They tell Liquid how to handle each piece of information, like text, numbers, or even lists. Liquid output can be one of 6 data types: strings, numbers, Boolean, nil, array, and empty drop. First, let's talk about strings. Any series of characters wrapped in single or double quotes. In simple words, a string is any text enclosed in quotes like "Hello World" or "Shopify rocks." Strings are useful whenever we're working with text data, such as product titles, descriptions, or customer names. Let's see this in action. Now, let's connect our local theme to the development store. Here's how. Start by opening your theme folder on your computer. Then, open the terminal or command line. If you're on Windows, press Alt+D and type CMD to access the terminal. In the terminal, type code dot to open the theme in VS Code. Now, let's create a file in the snippets folder. I'll name it datatypes.liquid and hit enter. Next, let's create the basic structure for this file. Press Ctrl+P to open the quick file finder. Type theme.liquid and press enter. With the theme.liquid file open, press Ctrl+F and search for the body tag. Right below the section header group tag. Type render, single quote, data types to include our new snippet. Then save the file. Now go back to the command line and type Shopify theme dev to start the development server. Finally, hold down Control button on the keyboard and click the link in the terminal to open your theme in the browser and see it live. I have rearranged the layout. Code editor on the left and browser on the right. Let's clean the code in the snippet file. To start, I'll declare a variable using the assign tag. Here, I'll set the title to Shopify Rocks. Now, to display this variable on the page, let's use an h1 tag and include the title inside it. This will output the title variable directly on the page. Save it. Let's preview it to see the result on the website. Next, let's look at the size of the string. To check the number of characters in our string, we can add .size after the title variable. This will tell us the length of the text. I'll use the h1 tag to display the character count. Inside the h1 tag, type character count, double curly braces, title.size. This is a quick way to check the length of any string, which can be really helpful for things like character limits in certain sections of the theme. Now, let's see how we can check if a string is empty. Sometimes, we need to make sure that a variable actually has content. We can use the blank keyword in a conditional tag to check if a string is empty. Here, if the title is not equal to blank, meaning it contains text, it will display a h1 tag. Let's add an else tag. If the title is empty, we'll show empty title instead. Let's test this on the website to see how it works. Now let's see what happens when we clear the text from the title variable. By removing the text in title, we should see empty title displayed on the website. Finally, let's add 2 spaces inside title to see how our condition behaves. Even with 2 spaces, Liquid still treats title as blank because it only contains white space. we'll see empty title on the page, but the character count will be 2, which represents the 2 spaces in our string. Next, we have numbers. Now we are on the open source Liquid documentation website. Numbers come in 2 types, integers and floats. Both of them are considered as numbers. Integers are whole numbers like 25, 42, or 100, while floats have decimals like 39.756 or minus 39.756. It can be positive, it can be negative. Numbers are used for calculations, pricing, or quantity. Let's dive into some examples to see how Liquid handles these. First, let's declare a few variables. This time we will use the Liquid tag. Inside the Liquid tag, we can code as many lines as we want. There is no need to use curly brace percentage delimiters on every line. Assign tag. Int underscore var is set to 10. And float underscore var is a float, or decimal, value set to 9.99. Now, let's display these variables on the page. H1 tag. Number, so that we can differentiate from strings. Using the double curly braces, I'm outputting both int var and float var in H2 tags. This will display each value directly on the page. Let's save the code. The values are rendered on the website. Liquid also provides some useful properties like shop.productsCount and shop.collectionsCount. Their data type is number. Here, I'm displaying the total number of products and collections in the store using shop.productsCount and shop.collectionsCount. This is a great way to use Liquid to show live data on the website. Finally, let's consider a scenario where we declared 10 as variable but inside a single quote. Let's compare integer 10 and string 10 to see if Liquid treats them as equal. In this comparison, I'm checking if int var and str var are equal. Since int var is a number and str var is a string, Liquid treats them as different, even though they both represent the value 10. Let's save. So, on the page, we can see the message. They are not equal. This shows us that Liquid differentiates between data types when making comparisons. And that wraps up our exploration of string and number data types in Liquid. Today, we covered how strings and numbers are represented in Liquid, looked at practical examples like checking for empty strings, and learned what happens when numbers are enclosed in quotes. Stay tuned for the next video, where we'll continue with more Liquid data types, including booleans, nil, arrays, and empty drop. Thank you for spending these 9 minutes with me. Remember, time is a finite resource. Use it wisely. I appreciate you choosing to invest it here. See you next time.